Herm Schrader on the Dirty Mo Media platform from the middle of America in St. Louis, Missouri starts right now.
Two of you may be in St. Louis, Missouri. I'm not anywhere near the middle of America. I'm in a welcome center rest area, the first one, 64 East going into West Virginia.
Man, I love that. And Kenny, before you and I get going, we are trying something new. First of all, I want to thank Rick Mast. He was so awesome last week. Thank you so much, Rick Mast. You know, I watched your show, Kenny. Kim was gambling, imagine that, on the cruise ship. And so I hopped on, I scrolled through it, and I said, boy, this is a lot of fun, and I really like that 3 look. You know, Schrader, you and I grew up with, Johnny Carson. You had Ed McMahon, you had Doc Severinsen. I just think that Charlie right in the middle is really a lot of fun. What do you think?
It makes you look better. Yeah. Yeah. No.
Well, yeah.
Hey, I got real quick before I screw it up.
Yeah.
What did the brassiere say to the hat?
Ooh, the brassiere. So the brassiere is a bra, right?
Yeah.
What did the bra? Charlie, do you know?
What did the brassiere say to the hat?
Yeah.
What did the brassiere say to the hat?
We give Uncle.
You go on ahead. I got to stay here and give these two a lift.
That's good.
That wasn't bad.
Hey, no, that's a winner.
Okay, I peaked now. That's it. That's it for me.
That was really good. So anyway, thank you, Rick Mast. You were awesome. And Kenny, I think it's fair to say if Rick is available and one of us are off racing, and I got to give credit to Charlie Marlowe 2 years ago. Charlie, how did you come across? You were the one that said, let's get Rick Mast for the Kenny Wallace YouTube show. What made you think of Rick Mast?
Well, it was your Kenny conversation with them. You guys just had great stories, and you did the interview, and about an hour in, it was clear you could have went another 5 hours. And it seemed like he enjoyed doing it, and he does. So I think he's a perfect fit.
Yeah.
Rick's good.
Yeah. So anyway, thank you, Rick Mast. And I think, the relationship between Rick Mast and all the drivers in NASCAR, everybody loves Rick. He's a good guy. And I think he taught us a lot. And we're going to try this 3 look, everybody. So drop a note right here. Do you like Charlie Marlowe in the middle? And
I don't think I wrecked Rick Mast at Bristol. He says
it was really good.
He says I wrecked him big, and I don't think I may have bumped him, but I don't think I wrecked him. I don't think I wrecked him like that.
And Kenny, we're going to get to that because we are going to talk very little about the NASCAR race because I think you and Rick taught us all a lesson. We just the NASCAR race. By the time this Herm Schrader show airs, it's just beat like a horse. And so, okay, where are you at, Kenny Schrader? Tell us everything.
I am in a little race car hauler. That new little one we got. It's not little, but it's a different one. And I'm headed to Stanton, Virginia, which is home of Federated. And I'm going to do a dinner tonight. We've got some type of show up there tomorrow. Got a race car with me. Then we're going to Stremmy's for Wednesday and Thursday to mess with the car. And Friday, Ohio Valley Raceway. And Saturday, Tyler County. And then hustle home. But it's supposed to rain all week. So who knows? I had like 6 tornado warnings on my phone last night. And we went through hail one time. Me and the truck, went through hail one time. It was beaten and the roads were almost white. And it's finally, I made it to a Walmart parking lot. And I'd gotten ahead of it. And I wasn't there 10 minutes. It says, here it comes. And these S&S haulers, you might lay it on its side, but you're not going to hurt this damn thing. You know? So I fell asleep anyway.
Are you by yourself?
Yeah.
Yeah, just you. So will Joey?
Joey's flying up tomorrow night.
Gotcha.
Joey's flying up tomorrow night, and he'll be with me the rest of the week.
Yeah. You know what? I want to stay right here just for a little bit, Kenny. That book of yours came out years ago called Gotta Race. And it talks about you appropriately. The title is awesome, Gotta Race. 2 weeks ago, you said something to me that hit home. You said, okay, so it is now April. When this show airs, it's April. And you said, man, I'm jacked up. Next week, all racing, all dirt racing, all the local tracks start. It's very clear that you still love, have a passion for racing. What I know you better than anybody. And what is it? Yeah, I mean, what is it? You said something to me one time. We were off and you and I were getting paid to do an appearance, and I looked at you and you were not happy. And I said, Kenny, what's wrong? And you said, I'd rather be at a quarter-mile dirt track racing than to be doing this. Where do you think this started? I mean, you're different than anybody. Maybe Red Farmer is still there. There's not very many people like you. Why do you gotta race?
Well, I guess because I didn't make as much money as all you guys, so I'm still trying to win some money. I don't know. I don't know. It's just it's what I always wanted to do, and I don't want to do it any less than I used to. So we're gonna, I was down last year. I got in 64, and then I didn't get to race last week either. And this week, even if it rains out up there early, and I could come home and race, but the weather forecast is bad there. Now, I guess if this comes out Wednesday, we'll know more by then. But it just, I don't know. It's what you're supposed to do.
You do feel weird, though, is what I do know about you. If you're not racing, you're out of sorts. It's like it is your comfort place, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just like if you're not on a cruise.
I heard you giving me hell about that, and I got a lot to say about the cruise. That's for sure. Hey, Charlie, I want to involve you in this. Kenny, you just brought this up a little bit ago. So they were calling for horrible storms here, 70, 80 mile an hour winds. But that storm that you're talking about, Kenny, it got right past St. Louis. I mean, it got across the Mississippi River, and then it fired. So we were saved. We got so lucky. We didn't get any drama. Charlie, did you get anything at your house? You're closer to the city than me.
Yeah, not recently here, but we got enough, obviously, a couple weeks ago with those tornadoes in Missouri, which was just crazy. But that was 2 weeks ago. But luckily, we missed this latest round.
Yeah, so Kenny, I think you're saying you ran into it.
It followed me. I ran into it. I got through it.
Yeah.
But then there was no stopping because it'd catch you in a heartbeat. But it was kind of exciting. Looking at your phone, picking up, going a little faster.
Trying to outrun the storm.
Then when
you stopped in the Kmart parking lot, you're saying it ran into you.
Just come and get me. I'll give up. Yeah,
that's funny. Okay, my 7-day cruise, everybody. Feel free for anybody to add in here. Well, I mean, we just got done talking about what you're going to do. What did you do, Kenny?
I don't know. I didn't put the counter out. I think I was home. I was home. I was in the shop, and then got rained out. I got back from we got back from Texas. And then we did show with Rick, and I was in the shop. Did have to go get a motorcycle. Had to go buy a used motorcycle. Got rid of a couple, so I went and bought another motorcycle. Rode it a little bit. But we was in the shop getting ready to go to Paducah, Kentucky last Friday night, and had trouble with trailer brakes. So we aborted, and we got that fixed and back at it now.
Yeah. Okay, so my I want to clear the air. You talking about all these cruises I go on. You're right. I'm not whipped, and I know Charlie can. Or you're saying I am? I can see that.
No,
right?
I'm just. I'm looking for my app.
Oh, okay. So my wife, she is the love of my life, and we go on. We used to go on one cruise a year, and that is in December.
Right.
But we do this family vacation.
I mean, that'd be fun, taking all the kids and everything. That'd be.
Yeah,
Was it a
yeah.
Disney cruise?
We started in Disney. We went down to Orlando on Friday and did just a little bit of Disney. And then we got on a bus and went on over to Port Canaveral, which was 50 miles away. And so that's why we had this odd cruise. It was weird because we never cruise, at the start of a year. So every year I've decided, the whole family would do a family vacation. And that's what we did. We did a family vacation. But I want to tell you about this cruise.
Did you get to pay for everything?
Oh, yes.
Good. Good. That's good.
So one of my favorite things in life is Kenny Schrader is a lover, and Kenny Schrader's for anybody that's listening on the podcast,
I got it.
Kenny Schrader's got it. I'm whipped.
No, it's a whip. I didn't know. No, I love Kim. You're great.
You got for everybody listening. Kenny Schrader has an app on his phone. Do it again, Kenny. Hold on.
What?
He got to find it again. Let's see.
Well,
he's trying to find it right
now.
It's
I'll
worth
find it.
Okay. Yeah. So anyway,
you've heard it before.
I have. But just because we did that 2 years ago doesn't mean we got to bring it up again.
Oh yeah.
So we made a mistake. It's like, when are we going to take this family vacation? And we've done it in February, and the kids are like, we're going to do it March. I'm like, okay, I pay for everything. And of course, Kenny Schrader teases me and says, hey, can I be part of your family?
I do. I want to be part of your family. I'd sell my house, live on one of yours.
But you're good to me too. You give me everything. You and Rusty, you spoil me, and I love you, Kenny Schrader. Wow. But we get on this cruise ship. We're on what's called the Carnival Mardi Gras, and I am like, what in the world is going on? I can't move. There's lines for the elevators. There's everywhere I went, there's a line. I'm like, this is not fun. Guess what it is? It's spring break.
Yeah.
Oh my God. All these young kids, they're good kids, and the girls, and they got high testosterone or whatever you call that. And they're, boy, you know where I'm going to go with this. And they're looking at themselves in the mirrors, and it was funny. My daughters are like, 34, 36, 38. But I mean, this cruise ship was jam packed. You couldn't move. And finally, about third or fourth day, everybody got on, got off, and everybody started getting better. But it was a workout, Kenny. I had to use the stairs a couple times. The elevators were they were not usable. So, I laid the law down as the old guy. I said, okay, girls, I know y'all are young, but Dad don't do lines anymore. You do the waiting. You wait in the lines. I'll pay for everything, but I'm not waiting in lines no more. So they got frustrated too. So because we had the grandbabies with us. So, but we ended up having a very good time. And Kenny, we had our best time at Atlantis, because we stopped there at Nassau, Bahamas, and we paid a little extra money, and that was good. And I want to discuss this with Charlie and Kenny, both of you. I want you both to weigh in. A lot, and I mean capital, a lot of race fans, Charlie and Kenny. And this lady said to me, she looked at me and it made me smile. She says, part of the OG. I love NASCAR. I miss you guys. Have you been hearing that a lot lately?
You hear it, but I mean, you hear it from the older people.
Yeah.
I mean, nothing's changed than it ever has. Generations, they age out. The drivers and the crew chiefs, and crew chiefs can stick around a little longer, but the people in the garage area age out. The management, Bill's senior was there when I started, and then junior, and then Mike. I mean, it's just older people mislike the way it was. I like the way it is. I love the way it was, but I like the way it is now a lot.
Charlie, do you think our group, especially Rick Mass, Kenny Schrader, they're just a touch older than me? Do you think that group, the Rick Mass, Kenny Schrader, do you think they're becoming like the Beatles? I think that group. I think this group is starting to get more famous. I hear it more nowadays than ever.
Yeah, I just from reading all the comments on YouTube podcasts, I just think racing fans love your guys' era. And there's just when I look at the pictures on NASCAR Media, there's something about the colors that pop and just that era and the drivers. And look, we'll get to Denny Hamlin because he won the race, but I hear this all the time. I see it all the time in comments that they like the drivers with the personalities, right? And I think we can all agree for a while there. A lot of people, drivers, felt like they couldn't say anything, didn't want to say anything controversial. Denny's somebody who likes to be controversial. I think it's good for business. And I think that's a big reason people like your guys' era. You're kind of guys that knew cars, right? You're car people. You weren't afraid to fight, throw a punch, argue, say something controversial. And I think people like that authenticity.
Kenny, he brings up a good point, like that Skull car that you drove for Andy Petrie. That was a good looking car. And Charlie brings up things from the outside that you and I don't see. Like our cars looked better back then because it was like 33 and Skull, 43 STP. The cars did look good back then, didn't they?
Yeah, I like the way they look now too, though. I mean,
Yeah.
you're not going to get me to. That's just the way we did it then. I remember telling Brian Buckhauer, I said, because the Skull was white on the green car and the 33s were gold.
Yeah.
And I said, boy, if we made them white, they'd really show up no more. He said, we ain't selling 33s. We're selling Skull.
Oh.
A number on a race car is totally useless anymore.
Yeah.
What do you have a number on a race car for? You don't need it for scoring. That's all electronics. It's my dirt car. It's one single digit. It'd be a 1 if everybody didn't have 1s, just because it doesn't mean anything. It just takes up space that you could have sponsor names on.
You bring up a good point that you preached to me years ago, and it caught me off guard because I have this emotional tie to my number 36. I'm like, I'm 36 for so many reasons. And it kind of hurt me when you said a number doesn't mean anything. Now I'm saying this with love and I'm laughing, but you were the first person to say to me a number doesn't mean anything, and you just explained it.
It's just a way of keeping track of the cars. It was something for the scores. So my daddy always had number 100. I had number 100 for 4 or 5 years when I started. And I started driving people's cars, other people's cars, and whatever number was on it, that's what was on it. We almost lost a race in Vado, New Mexico, a couple years ago. Stopped on the way back from the Kyle Petty ride. Ran a modified and a truck at Vado. We hustled over. It was like 500 miles. Got up Saturday morning, rode the bike over, and I got turned around. Christy Barnett turned me around. I was driving her modified, but she turned me around in a truck race. Didn't mean to, but got turned around.
A girl spun you out.
You know Christy.
I know. I'm letting all the fans know. She's a badass.
Yeah, she's badass. She hauls ass. She runs good all the time. But she got in me, turned me around. Well, you get your spot back there if you get turned around, and they'll go to the back. So she went to the back, and they're hollering. I didn't know you get your spot back. They're hollering number 12, back to the front, number 12. I didn't look. I don't care what number the damn thing was. I just knew. I mean, this guy said, you want to run my truck? And I said, yeah. So I climbed in. I didn't know I was number 12. I didn't know he gets spot back. It's 1 to go, and I realized, oh, That's me, so I got to go start back up the front. We wound up winning, but I almost didn't. I mean, it's just number. If you'd said Schrader, I knew that'd been me, but I didn't care about number.
Yeah. Charlie, what do you got?
Oh, I just want to say one thing real quick on this, because I know Mark Martin wouldn't agree, because he's always complaining about where the number is now. But if you looked at Denny's car when he won, the way that 11 was placed allowed Progressive to have a big, long word that looked really, really good for the sponsor.
Oh, yeah. That's why, I mean, where they are now makes more sense. I don't know what happened to all the fender decals. I don't know where all they went, because at one time, that was quite a bit of income for the teams. If you ran first, second, third, fifth, 10th, 15th, 20th, But I'm sure they've contributed point fund or something. I don't know, but they don't have all those. We used to go, the fender decals used to go all the way back to the start of the A post. So now by moving that number forward, gives a lot more room for the sponsor identity, which is what keeps the cars on a racetrack.
Yeah. Well, I just really feel like, okay, look, I've been here. Let me try this again. Here lately, more and more, I think our era is starting to become cool. I just really do. I hear a lot about it. Charlie even says it to me when we do little meetings. And, that was the allure of Rick Mast. Because, Charlie, you were the one that told me that everybody just still to this day, and the same thing with you, Kenny. But anyway, I just think it's coming back around again. All right, let's have a little fun with something that made me laugh. When you and Rick Mast were talking, it made me start thinking. And Rusty Wallace and Dale Sr., hey, this is not part of my thought, but did Dale Sr. one time say, "I'm not a senior"?
I don't know.
Like his dad's name is Ralph, but it was always Ralph. Was Dale Sr.'s dad's name, but it is thought that Dale Sr. Charlie, have you ever heard that?
Well, he would have became a senior when he named Dale Earnhardt.
Right.
But, I don't. Man, never thought about that. He made himself a senior.
Good point. There you go, everybody. Respond to that, because there are plenty discussions out there of Dale Earnhardt Sr., the man in black, arguing, "I am not a senior." I'm like, God, but it's so much easier.
Well, they didn't used to call him senior.
Yeah.
They didn't used to call him senior until junior.
So there you go, everybody.
In my mind,
Kenny Schrader just de-bullshitted it all. Love it. What do you think, Charlie?
Yeah, I feel like I have seen a clip where, maybe this is in my imagination. I feel like I've seen a clip where he said, "I'm Dale Earnhardt," and Dale Jr. is Dale Earnhardt Jr. Am I making that up? I feel like I saw that clip one day.
No, that's exactly what it said.
Yeah.
So, all right, moving forward.
But he's the senior Dale Earnhardt.
This is getting to be like Dumb and Dumber.
Well, no. Well, it is. But is Dale Earnhardt Jr. is Junior in his real name?
Right. Yeah. Well, that's the way we differentiate. That number 3 and that number 8 was Dale Sr. was the man in black, and Dale Jr. was Dale Jr., and it was just real easy for all of us. But so I just got to tell this story real quick before we get to the Sammy Smith at Martinsville. So start thinking about that one, Kenny. Yeah, right. Ugly. It was ugly, but I got to tell this quick story. So, and this was you and Rick Mast, and I thought about this. So the Xfinity cars back in the day, obviously, it was called the Busch Series, but it's all the same, everybody. It's just a different sponsor. So they were run the V6, 6 cylinders, but V6. And boy, they sounded like bees. They would come by. They definitely had a different sound, but they had a lot less horsepower because they were a V6. Well, Rusty Wallace and Dale Earnhardt Sr., they really like competing against each other, and they like teasing each other a lot. We've heard all the stories, right? Earnhardt putting the sardines underneath Rusty's seat before the start of the Southern 500, and Rusty's like, why does my car smell so bad? So come to find out, Earnhardt put sardines underneath Rusty's seat, and it's 100 degrees out. Then later on, Rusty gets Earnhardt back. Rusty steals Dale Earnhardt Sr.'s steering wheel before the start of the race. Rusty takes it with him, and Earnhardt's starting right behind Rusty. Rusty's looking in his mirror, and he says, I'm just going to let Earnhardt wiggle until there, national anthem's over. He says the crew starts running, so Rusty somehow gets his hand out with the steering wheel. So, okay, I'm painting the picture. These two are going at it. Well, we're on the back straightaway, the old Darlington. Now, Darlington's coming up, Kenny, and that's the reason I'm bringing this story up. So, what was the back straightaway in our day? Earnhardt says, Wallace, he's talking to Rusty. He goes, Wallace, I run through that turn one wide open with his V6. Now, he's running the Fisher motor, and the Fisher motor was down on horsepower compared to what Rusty had in, which was a Buick V6 Ruggles motor. Rusty probably had, quite a bit more power. So this really pissed Rusty off because Earnhardt could run through that corner wide open. And Rusty wasn't into the drag and the brake like you're good at, Kenny. Rusty didn't believe in dragging the brake. Rusty coasted because that's kind of like what Dick Trickle taught him. So, we get it. You're holding it wide open, but you're dragging the brake. Well, Rusty didn't drag the brake. Rusty looks at me and he goes, I'm going to run this son of a bitch wide open through. If Earnhardt can do it, I can do it. Yeah. Rusty goes down that straightaway. Now, I got my car because I'm racing, but I'm not on the track. And we all stand up and we go, he's going to do it. Rusty's going to do it. He runs that damn thing square in the wall, destroys the car. And we spend all night long fixing that car. And it's like, why could Earnhardt go through that corner wide open and Rusty couldn't? That is an Earnhardt story. I mean,
he was going slower when he got there.
Right.
He was going slower. I did that with Ron Hornaday one time. We were at Texas. We were both in Harvick's trucks. And I said, Ron, can you run around here flat out? He said, you going out as soon as practice starts? I said, yeah. He said, go out about 6th or 7th. If I'm going out first, I'm going to be first in line. If I make it back around, you can. He made it back around, so we went and did it.
What was it like? No, so I know this, but what I want you to tell the fans, we're not gladiators. We're not daredevils. We don't want to wreck. So you're going down that front straightaway, that dog leg at Texas Motor Speedway, and you're thinking, I'm going to die.
No, I ain't thinking that. So I'm going to make a commitment here.
Okay.
I'm going to run this thing. I kind of got to get braced up because this could have a not very happy ending.
Like I said.
Yeah, but yeah, it was fun. Darlington was the most fun to qualify at.
Yes.
Man, you'd come down there, and you had to get it done on your first lap because tires would fall off so bad. Old Darlington, new Darlington, same difference. Just move to straightaway or move to start-finish line. Yeah. But in the old days, when you'd come off 4, you wanted to carry that momentum off 4, which was tough. Then you'd nail 1 and 2, and then you'd go down that back straightaway and look at 3, and it's like, oh my gosh. So we got our first pole there. I think we had 3 poles at Darlington, but that was a fun place to qualify. You could throw yourself.
Charlie, you probably didn't know this, but as Kenny says, in the day, and we all do, you're looking at one of the best qualifiers in NASCAR, Kenny Schrader.
Should have worried about winning races. That would have worked out a lot better. But
how many poles do you have, Kenny?
I don't know. Not enough.
A lot. You won. I think you might have won the pole award one year.
Yeah, we had 6 in 1 year, and I know that because I just saw it the other day. But we had 6 in 1 year.
Yeah,
but we didn't win any races, so boy, that was a hell of an accomplishment.
You when I come to your, when you and Ann were showing me around your new shopping house, it's awesome, and I like how you're decorating the bar area, bringing out some of the great trophies. That made me very happy. But okay,
23, by the way. According to Wikipedia, you have 23 cup poles.
you looked that up that quick,
Yeah, Wikipedia, baby.
and you're doing that right now while we're doing this. That's awesome.
5 Xfinity poles, 2 truck poles, and 1 Canada Series pole. Oh, and 22 ARCA poles.
Kenny, weren't you the?
I like qualifying.
You're good at it.
I like
Hey,
it.
weren't you the first driver to win in all 3 series? Weren't you the first driver?
Yes, but that's just because we won the second race. Skinner won the second or third. Skinner won the first race. It was at Phoenix. Childress's truck. Labonte runs second. Terry.
Awesome. Yeah.
In one of Rick's trucks, and then we run third. But then we wound up going to Saugus, that little bull ring out there.
Yeah.
And we wound up winning out there. So yeah, I mean whoever had won in the other 2 was going to be the first one. So.
Yeah. I just think I like to brag on you. Yeah, you won in Cup, Xfinity, and Truck. That's awesome. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so we are changing subjects, everybody. Saturday at Martinsville, heard around the world, and you can definitely give your opinion on this, Kenny. I've definitely given mine. I want to paint the picture, everybody. It is the Xfinity Series. And if it was 200 laps, they ran 100 laps under caution and only 100 laps under green. It was like a diseased race. Like the drivers were literally in real. Like we need to red flag this race and talk to all the drivers. They weren't moving each other. They were wrecking each other mercifully. So at the very end of the race, coming to the checkered flag, this Taylor Gray's simply going to win it. He's got a good 1 length lead.
Or 2.
Okay, yeah. 2, I agree. And Sammy Smith in the number 8 loses his mind, and you can tell he's laser focused. He is going to wreck this guy for the win and not spin him out. We're going to wreck him. He hit him so hard that the whole front of his car was caved in, and all hell breaks loose.
Well, he had to drive in and up the racetrack to get him, enough that he put himself in a position to, even if he gets it, he obviously got him wrecked, but even if he gets him wrecked, he's not going to win anyway because he's left the whole bottom open.
And see, that's what everybody says. Well, Earnhardt used to do it. I'm like, hey, dummy, Earnhardt would win the race after he spun you out. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
how many times did Dale do it? I mean, I got to think. How many times did he really?
It was famous whenever he did do it.
Yeah, but because it was kind of new. But how many times did he really do it? He didn't do it that many times.
No.
Now, he wrecked more people, but not always for the win. I mean, Labonte's the only one he really got for the win. But that was ugly. Everybody hit Timmy Hill looked like an innocent victim there, or innocent winner. Didn't wreck nobody, but he knocked the hell out of Justin going into 1 and had to run in a couple good car lengths to get him. But it was ugly, and I don't know. It was identical to what Austin did at Richmond. Yeah. It was last year. I mean, it was the same thing. So I don't know what they're going to do, but they got to do something there. I mean, at the minimum, they got to do something. But man, some of them, that's embarrassing. That's an embarrassing way to finish those races.
Charlie, listen to this. Okay, it is a very serious subject, but here's the comedy in it all. They go now, mind you, I don't watch every lap. Kenny, I'm just like you. I don't watch everything, but I'm really good at social media. When I know we're getting ready to do Herm Schrader, I can study up, and it's very easy to find all this stuff. I'm in the plane coming back. You land, you're waiting for your luggage. You can find this. So listen to this. The race is a disaster. They go to Justin Allgaier, our buddy, and they're like, Justin, Justin's hair's starting to get gray. He's starting to look like, the man of the series. Justin Allgaier is now, the dad. Mm-hmm. And they said, Justin, you need to take a leadership role in the Xfinity series. He says, I'm not big enough.
Well, I listened. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, no, I mean, and he meant that, like tall in stature. It's kind of like our buddy Bob Sargent. If you're going to be a good promoter, you need to be tall and burly. Justin's saying he's not tall enough.
Yeah, but we're all the same size in the race car.
Jeff Gordon proved that, and Mark Martin.
Well, and I don't know how old the clip was, but something with Kyle Busch about Eddie Jarvis calling him in out in the motorhome lot whenever. Said, hey, Tony wants to see you. He's like, he got in Tony the week before. And Tony was like, hey, you ran over me. I don't think he parked him or nothing, but you ran over me. You're good. You're going to win races. You're going to win. I'm sure you'll probably win a championship or two. But that's not the way you do it. And he was asked. They asked Kyle, said, why don't you have that? Why don't you have that talk with the kids now? And he said, oh no, it's too far gone. They're out of control. It's just different.
Yeah. I did a coffee with Kenny, and I don't think I could have said it any better. But I also watched Kyle Petty on Happy Harvick. And man, Kyle Petty says it's so good. Kenny, when I looked at the way you grew up around your dad at Bill's Automotive, you're automotive minded, you're in your dad's shop. And I say stuff and I know what I'm going to say. And Rusty always says, before you say something, think about it. How can it benefit you? So I'm going to say this and because Kyle said it, and I liked what Kyle said. For some reason, and it's just flat true, a lot of these kids nowadays, and we beat it, and I know we have, they don't work on the car. They don't know anything about a car. They don't know anything about a car. And the father does pay for the car. Here's $6 million. My son's going to drive your car. That's why these drivers are getting into these top-notch rides. Now, I'm not complaining. I don't care. I had my time in the sun. I'm super happy with my life. I'm not bitter in any way. I'm just pointing out that has got to be the difference. And, you made me laugh about 5 years ago when these video games started coming out. You put in your dirt car a fake reset button on your steering wheel.
Yeah. Yeah. There's been a lot of times I woke up in the ambulance thinking, damn, a reset button would have been nice. Instead of having to do this go to the hospital and
Charlie, you should have seen it. Kenny's getting ready to go out, and I, for some reason, I'm not getting ready to go out. And I looked down and I said, what's that button right there? He had a little white piece of tape that you can print off. It says, basically, Kenny's making fun of all the kids now. It said reset. And he said, this one I wreck. I just hit this and my car goes back to good. So the bottom line, Charlie, is these kids don't do anything anymore. They just jump in the car, you wreck it, and then they get it fixed by the employees.
Yeah, and I don't think you can lump all the kids in that same group. But I know there has been a number of young drivers. Let's don't say kids. Young drivers, and some of them are kids, but a number of young drivers that would have breakout years in the ARCA series and win 4 or 5 or 6 races, and then they went away. And it's usually, when the funding dries up, that's when they're going to have problems.
That's when you can tell, right?
But there's some really good ones too. There's some really good ones out there.
Yeah. Well, I remember Brother Rusty saying, look, there's Apollo drivers that can drive. And Earnhardt said, Herman, there's thousands of great race car drivers all over the world. And, there's a reason me and you, I'm going to brag on myself, and we stayed in the game because, you must first finish to finish first. But I really feel like that another reason, and I'm going to throw this in here. I think there's consequences to rules that you don't think about. And I think what we're seeing right now is one of the reasons all this malarkey's going on, all this wrecking everybody. There's no more cup drivers in the Xfinity series to chew those kids' ass out. If Kyle Busch is leading a Busch race, or, I never messed with Mark Martin or Harry Gant or Dale Jarrett or you. When I was in my time, I didn't mess with Kenny Schrader in a Busch race, and I didn't mess with Harry Gant. Here, at any time, Kenny, I could have, when I was in my prime in the Busch series, here's who I was racing: Kenny Schrader, Mark Martin, Dale Sr., Harry Gant, Dale Jarrett. 5 cup guys. You didn't breathe on them because after the race, they would grab you by the throat, and you've seen it between the trailers. Do you think that's missing today?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Now they run out there to confront them and make sure that there's a NASCAR security guy close in case this goes bad,
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's just different. The world's different.
There's no teachers, is my point.
Yeah.
They're all students in the Xfinity series.
Yeah.
What do you think, Charlie?
Well, I think the video game thing is interesting because it goes both ways. You have the William Byrons who became drivers from the video games and the iRacing and all that, right? So there's positive, but then the other half are the guys who they think they can just wreck everybody like a video game, and there's no consequences on the video game, but there obviously is in real life.
What do you think was going through Sammy Smith's mind when he went down that back straightaway?
I'm going to win a race.
That's it, ain't it?
Yeah.
And no matter what.
We just didn't think everything through real good. But, yeah.
Bobby Allison, myself and Neil Bonnet were going down the back straightaway at Birmingham, Alabama. And I know Neil's got soaked tires on because Frankie Grill and them did at that time, and I didn't really know how to do it. And I'm going down, Neil Bonnet's on my outside, I'm on the inside. We're going into turn 3 at Birmingham. And I'm like, I'm young. I'm like, Neil is not going to beat me into this corner. And I barrel that damn thing in there with him. And I spin out and I destroy Neil Bonnet. And I was very upset with myself. And Bobby Allison made me feel worse. The next week we're at Pocono, and Bobby Allison looked me right in the face. And he said, I'm very disappointed in you. He said, you forgot where you were at on the racetrack. And once I got over the hurt of him shaming me, the old drivers would shame you. They'd make you feel bad. And he was right. Bobby Allison was right. And I think that's what happened to Sammy. Sammy was so focused on wrecking that guy that he forgot. Like you said, he went up the racetrack.
Yeah. And it's not, there's a little bit of a difference as far as Sammy wasn't focused on wrecking that guy. He was focused on winning the race. He had to hit him and move him to win the race. He hit him a little harder than he really needed to, but it's not like I'm going to wreck him. I'm going to win the race.
These kids nowadays need to learn the art of moving people. I'm going to tell you what, Harry Gant moved me at Bristol going into 3. Didn't even know I was moved. I was off the track.
The gray boy, that led the whole thing and got moved. That was Sammy that moved him.
Yep.
And, Sammy did a typical, now what's typical moving. And then when the gray boy when he moved him back to get the lead,
yeah,
that was perfect. I mean, that was just, I'm loose, and going by. I mean, he did a phenomenal job. I felt that was the biggest thing. I felt so bad for him because he drove an excellent race.
Yeah, and I couldn't have said it better. You're right. That's what they did back. That's what they did back when it was right. Taylor moved him going into one up the track, and boom, goes on him and starts running away from him.
Yeah, well, I mean that deal. He didn't move him. He freaking turned him around. You know, that's just anyway. It's over. It's not over. I bet it's going to be fun.
Well, something's going to happen, and I think Bob Pockras says that maybe tomorrow. They've been coming out with Charlie. These penalties have kind of been either on Tuesday evening or sometimes Wednesday. When do you think something should come out, Charlie?
I would think Tuesday. So of course after this comes out.
Yeah. You know what? Somebody said $25,000 fine, 25 points. It's a lower series. It takes about $6 million a year to run that series. So I think they'll fine him rated,
you can take points away and you can fine and you can do all that. You can do that to blue in the face. It will make no difference.
What will make a difference?
Letting them watch the next race from home or the next two races from home. That'll make a difference.
There, you heard it, everybody.
Make
them sit out.
I'm just telling you.
I agree with that. I agree. They did that to Kevin Harvick at Martinsville when they said Kevin Harvick to the trailer after his truck race.
Yeah.
They said, Harvick, bring your truck.
Come to the trailer.
Go ahead.
He thought they meant like him and the truck and everything right now. So he went, yeah.
Charlie, Kevin Harvick was so mad, such a smart ass. And I've told this to Harvick. I said, you're a smart ass, aren't you? He goes, oh, yeah. So NASCAR calls Harvick to the trailer. So he takes his race truck. And at Martinsville, you could drive your race car to the back of the NASCAR trailer. And he stopped about 1 foot from the entrance of the trailer. They said, okay, you know what's going to happen, Harvick? Tomorrow, Kenny Wallace is going to drive your 29 GM Goodwrench Cup car. I'm in the middle of the Xfinity race at Nashville. And my crew chief says, Kenny Wallace, Mike Helton would like to talk to you. I'm like, what? I'm totally confused. So Mike Helton, the president of NASCAR at that time, I'm racing the cautions out at Nashville. Herman, Mike Helton here. Do you want to drive Kevin Harvick's Cup car tomorrow? Yes, sir. So, Kenny, you're right.
You're spending, it's okay, we're spending $100,500 for a race or something to run the race. So we're going to fine them $25,000. So what? We're already threw away $100,500. So, I mean, yeah, it's $25,000, but at the end of the year in the budget, it doesn't make no difference.
Somebody on social media a year or so ago pointed that stat out, that it was the only Cup race. So Harvick would have broke records because he's a tough guy. Harvick had this consecutive streak going. Why didn't Kevin Harvick, break Ricky Rudd's record or whoever's? It was when Kenny Wallace drove his car. Delana Harvick chimes in, said one of the worst days of our life watching our car. From the Yeah,
remember that one.
Yeah, you're right. All right. Well, we will go ahead and give in, everybody. And this is strategized now. Denny Hamlin gets this new, beautiful sponsor for 18 races. I think it's one of the, in an era, Kenny Schrader and Charlie, where, people are sponsoring for 8 races, 10 races. Denny Hamlin gets Progressive Insurance for 18 races. That's big. And what's he do? He goes out and wins, the second race? So Denny Hamlin has now tied Rusty Wallace at 55 Cup wins. That's his 6th win at Martinsville. And it was a big win for him, Kenny, just because he's been running good and hasn't won in over a year, they say.
Yeah, boy. when I when I was over a year, it's okay. That's no big deal. But after that 2 and 3 and 4, it got a whole lot worse.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, he's been right there. It's not like Denny Hamlin was done. By no means. He's gonna be around till he doesn't want to be.
Isn't it crazy that Denny Hamlin's considered one of the GOATs now, as far as 55 wins? And I've always said, listen, you can talk all about this championship all you want. Dale Jr.'s in the Hall of Fame. Mark Martin's in the Hall of Fame. Denny Hamlin's got more wins than both of them. I just don't think Denny Hamlin's career gets defined on a championship or not. There's too many drivers in the Hall of Fame with 0 championships.
You take Mark Martin, probably number 1. Denny right there. You take Harry Gant. I mean, them guys, yeah, they could have won championship. They didn't, for what, it just didn't work out. But they're Hall of Famers. There's no disagreeing that. I mean, they're right where they belong.
Charlie, you brought it up. Why does Denny Hamlin's car look so good? It's just, you brought it up, that big P progressive. Why does that car look so good?
Yeah, well, it's you got the blue and the white. And we were talking about the numbers earlier, bringing up Mark Martin again. And I know a lot of people, Mitchell Stapleton's another guy who really doesn't like the new number placement. But on the side view, which is what you're seeing for the most part on TV, a progressive, I don't know how many letters are in that word, but it's a lot. And then, so it's a long word, and it just looks really good with the number placement. Even if you like the old school placement for that long progressive, they're getting their money's worth with that, with the new car.
Yeah, I like it. I like it because the people that are paying the bills, and that's the name on the car, the sponsor, has more room.
Yeah. And Kenny, one thing that stood out to me is, and I kind of forgot about this, Mike Joy made a big deal out of it, and I'm glad he did because I forgot. Martinsville's 400 laps.
Yeah, and that caught me off guard.
Yeah. My ass used to hurt from, me and you talk 500 laps, you push the brake 1,000 times. Did your ass ever hurt after those races from pushing the brake so much?
You didn't notice it till you driving home and you couldn't get comfortable, and you're sitting on a solid friggin' aluminum seat with just a little bit of padding. Then you're driving home in a new Suburban, and it's like, I can't get comfortable because your ass was that sore.
Listen to this. There was 38 cars that started the Cup race. 37 finished. Now, they were laps down, but they were running and finished.
Yeah, and they didn't come in, not like 15 of them came in and fixed things for however long and then went back out. It used to be at Martinsville, we'd break engines because of the high RPMs, low gear to get up off turn. We'd break engines, we'd break gears, and we'd lose brakes.
That's it.
They've fixed all that, and even before the new car, we saw this. The parts are so much better that we were seeing more and more cars finish. But that's unbelievable. That just says so much about the equipment that the guys that the manufacturers are building.
Yeah, 37 to 38 finish. So we'll kind of end like this. I felt like as a driver, there were some really good in-car shots of Bubba Wallace, and I felt myself in the car. Man, then at the end of that race, it's like Kenny and Charlie, both of you. Charlie, we'll start with you first. Do we have to wreck all the time to have a good race? Because I didn't need wrecking. I was in Bubba Wallace's car, and I'm like, okay, here's Chase Elliott coming. Is Bubba Wallace going to get underneath Christopher Bell? I was kind of jacked up. That race at the end for second, third, or fourth. I'm like, are they going to wreck each other? I just don't need all that wrecking.
Yeah, it's funny because we're talking about Saturday night, way too many wrecks. Then the end of that race Sunday, you're like, oh, do you want a little more drama? Right? Denny wins it easily. But I think you need a good mix. Like I don't know, every 5, 6 races, whatever it is, I do like seeing the dominant car that deserves to win actually win. We need some of that too.
Yeah, and you know what? This shows will be out in April, and Talladega is in April, so we'll have enough wrecks for the month.
There you go, everybody.
Yeah,
All
it'll just
right.
be later in the month.
I hope everybody likes the new.
Tell one story I want you to tell, because and it's got nothing to do with anything we're talking about.
Right.
But back in the day, when we all started staying in motorhomes at the racetrack, we all had American Eagles, and most all of them got them from Tom Johnson.
Yeah.
And they were, they were all, a lot of them were painted the same and stuff.
Oh,
I love that story, and it's a lot different as far as about how everybody got along. You're Mr. Spencer.
Yeah. Okay. First of all, I got to say this, everybody. I've already talked about how much I loved Rick Mast and Kenny Schrader last week. I was going through the comment section, and somebody was very nice. They said, Kenny Schrader, and I'm going to say this to you because they said it. This is what I am asking out of you when we do these shows. And it's like you gave Rick Mast all your stories. And so I want to thank you, because that's what sometimes, like Mike Davis and Dale Earnhardt Jr., they're like, Herman, you and Schrader need to do a show. You guys got so many stories. I'm like, I can't get Schrader to tell stories. So I'm going to work harder on you.
I'll work on it. Tell your Mr.
Okay,
this is awesome.
This is crazy. So, like Kenny said, we buy all our motorhomes from Tom Johnson Camping Center right there in Concord or somewhere around North Carolina. And I got what's called an American Eagle. It says American Eagle. And me and Kim and I, we chose like the tan brown one. Well, Jimmy Spencer buys the exact same color, looks just like mine. So Jimmy Spencer and myself, we both have identical motorhomes. And, back in the day, the money's flowing. You're like, hey, take my motorhome all the way out to California Speedway. I mean, all the way out to California. And there's my motorhome. Well, I just get done practicing the Cup car. And I'm hot. And, we're done. Practice is over. So I go back to my motorhome. And by God, I pull my door open. I jump up in my motorhome. And there's Jimmy Spencer's dad just sitting in my motorhome at the kitchen table, just eating and just
strawberries. Strawberries.
Yeah, eating strawberries, having a good time. I looked at him and I said, well, hey, Mr. Spencer, how you doing? I was shocked. So I said, hey, Mr. Spencer, how you doing? And I'm shocked, but I'm trying to act calm. And he responds, he looks at me and he goes, his eyeballs, Spencer's, his eyeballs get as big as it. Go ahead.
Yeah, he kept eating.
Yeah,
he kept doing good. Yeah. Then you sat on the couch, shoes off, sat on the couch, and then that's when he started looking around.
So I just like, okay, I'm going to go with this because Jimmy Spencer is a friend of mine, even way before we did TV.
He's awesome.
And everybody liked my dad, Jimmy's dad. Back in the day, the dads stayed out of the way, but they were always milling around, and everybody liked that. So I just like, okay, Jimmy Spencer's dad's up in my motorhome because he likes me. And I start taking my fire suit off, and I get down the couch. All of a sudden, I look at Mr. Spencer. He looks all around. He goes, I'm in the wrong motorhome. I'm so sorry.
You're welcome anytime, sir.
You're welcome anytime.
Yeah,
it was fantastic. Well, those you won't see that anymore. You won't see it. And how, like Kenny, Kenny, sometimes it's sad to say, I can't argue with you on it. There was just something about those days that just everything aligned right. The stories were incredible. I told that story to Kenny, and I've told it to a couple other people. It's always better when you have a couple beers, But the punchline is Jimmy Spencer's dad looking up, and his face was in total amazement, eyes as big as a silver dollar, looked all around, and he said, I'm in the wrong motorhome. I'm so sorry. I said, get yourself some more food. Just take those strawberries with you.
You're more than welcome to be in here.
Yeah. All right, everybody.
You talk about someone making you feel bad.
Yeah.
Jimmy and I, we wrecked a couple times together.
Here
But
we go. This is what I've been looking for, everybody.
No. We wrecked a couple. We wrecked at Wilkesboro, and then we wrecked at Charlotte. And I'll tell them later. But
Yeah.
the next week, Mr. Spencer got me and said, "Hey, you really disappointed me," and that's like Bobby Allison, because I called Jimmy an idiot on TV. I was mad, and I shouldn't have, but and I said, "Oh, that hurt when Mr. Spencer said that," and I realized what I did. But that hurt me.
And that's how we're going to end this show. I think we made our point. Back in our day, we had heroes, people that we put up on a different platform. Nowadays, for some reason, these cup drivers have got 40 and 50 wins. These young kids don't think that's anything, and they don't respect them. And in our day, we looked up to those guys. And boy, when they said something, it hurt like hell. And it straightened you out, and you started driving the right way. But Charlie, you got anything else, buddy?
Well, we got jokes, but first we got to tell people again, Dirty Mo with the new e-commerce merch line. They've got some awesome Herm Schrader gear, shirts, hats, all that, all the shows on Dirty Mo Media. Visit shop.dirtymomedia.com to check out all the new stuff. And we got some jokes now. Now, last week we had some kind of racy jokes from the listeners. So if people want to send in more jokes, we didn't get as many this week, so I just went back to the well of the kind of corny jokes, so I apologize in advance, but here we go. This first one is very easy. Okay. Why are toilets always so good at poker? Think about it.
Why are toilets so good at poker?
Because they got a full house.
Well, you're close.
They poke you in the butt.
No.
They always get a flush.
That's a good one. That's good. That's good.
My boss told me to have a good day. My boss told me to have a good day, so I went home.
That's even
Not
a better
bad.
one.
I like
really
it.
good.
All right. Yeah, these are all kind of grade school. What do you call a pencil with erasers on both ends? What do you call a pencil with erasers on both ends?
I call it an eraser. Can't write with it.
Pointless.
Hey, they're all good. I like them. Yeah, because
all right.
Yeah,
I had this site that had like 100 racing jokes, and we already used almost all the good ones. So, how does NASA organize a party? How does NASA organize a party?
Yeah, NASA in space. How do they organize? I don't know.
They plan it.
Very good.
All right, and then this last one. This is good. This is in honor of Rick Mass with his cow, which was, he said apple, but then after midnight he said it was called baby.
Yeah.
Right. So here it is. What do you get from a pampered cow? What do you get from a pampered cow?
A baby.
What type of milk? I'll give you a hint.
Whole milk.
Spoiled milk. There you go. It's all right.
That's good.
I think I feel like I started with the two best ones.
Charlie?
That's all I got.
I still think you go ahead, and I'm going to stay back, give these two a lift to be better.
No, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
That's good.
For sure.
Well, Charlie and Kenny, we had a good time. I like this. I like this new way we're doing the show. And Kenny, stay safe, buddy. I think those storms are gone, but I'm like you. You and I want to race really bad. I'm trying to practice Wednesday night at Peevely, but it's like you're watching the TV, the local weather, and you're like, what? And it's like rain. And it's like, stop.
I was over there, went over there one day last week, and what Josh has done, the track is great. You'll notice the difference. He's put an all new wall up in 3 and 4, all catch fence.
Yeah.
They've done a lot of painting. They've done some paving. They've built a beer garden. I really like that.
Yeah. You'll be there.
But I'm excited for him.
Yeah. So this Saturday, everybody, April 5th at Federated Auto Parts Raceway, they are going to do a farewell to Kenny Schrader and Ray Marlar. Kenny, I guess it's fair to say, I think we might have talked about this. I guess you have Federated Auto Parts going to stay there and help Josh.
Well, I don't. It's not like I have them. That they're going to stay and help them and see how that goes.
Yeah.
I don't get to be there. Josh told me about it, and I said, "I wish I'd known." I'm in West Virginia racing that night, but have fun.
Yeah. So we'll see everybody this Saturday, April 5th at Federated Auto Parts Raceway. New owner Josh Carroll is going to pay tribute to the man you're looking at, Kenny Schrader and Ray Marlar, because they put that racetrack on the map, and really heartfelt, and all the drivers were going to be there, and we're looking forward to it. So, all right, everybody, until the next Herm Schrader show, we'll see you next time.